Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers: Dante arrests Gio for breaking into the lab. Does his son do Emma a criminal favor? According to General Hospital spoilers, Giovanni Gio Palmieri might be arrested by Dante Falconeri for the upcoming lab break-in. Is Dante going to catch his son doing Emma Scorpio Drake an illegal favor? Fans of GH are aware that Emma is the one who is obsessed with entering Professor Henry Hank Dalton's laboratory. Emma wants to break in and stop the animal testing because she is certain that it is likely taking place there. Emma is one step closer to achieving her objective now that she possesses the master key that she took from Vaughn. While Dalton was engaged giving a speech during his next lecture, Emma brought up the notion of carrying out this break-in. But if his overachieving pupil Emma wasn't in the front row, Dalton would become suspicious. In the end, Gio made the point that Emma had to go to the lecture in order to prevent arousing suspicions. Gio now intends to break into the lab by himself, although this seems like a surefire way to fail. Gio is likely to be apprehended at some point while carrying out this unlawful mission for Emma. Gio shouldn't be skulking around Dalton's lab, where access is restricted and covert activities are conducted. Dante might be called in to look into it because it's easy to see Gio setting off an alarm while he snoops. Dante will find himself in a difficult situation if he becomes involved in this lab break-in case. Dante can find himself in a position where he must take Gio into custody and take him in handcuffs to the police station. That might cause Gio and Dante's relationship to suffer yet another setback. Dante would really like to be close to Gio, but after all the turmoil this probable arrest has caused, it could seem impossible. Of course, Dante could surprise his supporters by prioritizing Gio over his work. It may be intriguing if Dante decides to cover for Gio instead of letting him go. That might significantly reduce the resentment Gio has been dealing with and demonstrate Dante's concern for him. In any event, according to General Hospital spoilers, Gio might have a near-miss or run-in with the cops. Keep checking back for any updates on any concerning developments. Chase and Gio talk, Anna and Albrecht get back together. Important takeaways: when Anna and Liesl Albrecht cross paths, their past and possibly Britt's disappearance will be discussed. Chase may try to persuade Gio to give Brooklyn a chance when they cross paths. Rick had supper with Molly, but he doesn't tell her many things, such how her sister interfered with his automobile. Ava suggests something to Alexis that might have something to do with Christina's plan and the Cassadine Trust. General Hospital spoilers for Monday, August 4, 2025, will highlight Chase running into Gio and Ava proposing, in addition to Anna meeting Albrecht. Dante recently informed Anna that Liesl Albrecht was returning to the area on General Hospital. Rocco needed to know about Britt, so the doctor came back to get in touch with him. She was delighted to tell tales and provide details about his birth. What will happen when Anna meets Albrecht again on Monday? Despite their complex past, they are largely in a better position now. After all, they both went crazy a few years ago. But since Anna is aware of Albrecht's abilities, this exchange could go in 100 different directions. Their talk might go in that direction because Anna is aware of Jason's intuition that Britt is still alive. Meanwhile, Britt is injecting herself with enigmatic mixtures in Dubrovnik, Croatia, where she is somehow connected to Dalton's studies. It's obvious to me that she's lonely. She is not accompanied by her mother. What occurs if Britt is unexpectedly surprised? Jason has plenty of time to catch up to her. Unexpected conversation: since the huge announcement, Dante has had a few opportunities to speak with Gio. Those exchanges were fruitless but not catastrophic. Conversely, Brooklyn hasn't spent a lot of time with her biological son. However, things didn't work out the last time they were in the same area. Given that Chase is going to meet Gio, things might start to get better. Given this unexpected possibility, Brooklyn's husband might begin arguing for Gio to give Brooklyn a chance. Awkward father-daughter dinner. In another scene, Rick and Molly have dinner together. Rick is aware of many things that his daughter is not. This is similar to how her sister applied the brakes of his vehicle, which led to the collision that sent him and Elizabeth to the hospital. Because of Christina's poor decisions, he is also blackmailing Alexis. The father and daughter will most likely have to limit their conversation to subjects like the law and Cody's lack of character. When the ADA discovers that everyone in her life is deceiving her, what will happen? At last, Ava offers a suggestion. Ava cautioned Alexis that she needed to speak with her during the disastrous wedding of Drew and Willow. Therefore, that must be the subject of this proposal. If this is about making a different agreement with Alexis about the money she has been embezzling from the Cassadine Trust, then Ava might be playing into Christina's hands. This could be an indication to Christina and Alexis that her plan is succeeding. General Hospital spoilers: does Drew blackmail Willow back into a relationship even though he knows she is a kidnapper? Drew Quartermain has discovered a shocking revelation. According to General Hospital spoilers, Willow Corinthos abducted Daisy Corinthos Gilmore on July 4th, and he is the only person who is aware of it aside from her. Drew questioned Willow about her vacation whereabouts after Nina Reeves confronted him about Sasha Gilmore Corbin leaving Port Charles with Daisy in tow. He caught Willow lying about being with Nina. He's holding a deadly card now that he knows she sneaked into the Quartermain estate. As Willow battles for Michael Corinthos' trust, can Drew use this as leverage to extort her back into his arms? Willow's world is rocked by Drew's discovery. Facebook users are in disbelief after Drew revealed that Willow had abducted Daisy while he was in Washington, D.C. When Willow lied about her intentions for July 4th and claimed that she went to have a drink with Nina after the fireworks, his suspicions, which had been aroused by Nina's confrontation regarding Sasha's departure, were verified. She is currently at Michael's mercy after her frantic attempt to harm him cost her Wiley and Amelia Corinthos due to Drew's plots. Fans of GH are split on whether Drew, who is still hurting after Willow's rejection at the altar this week, will exploit this truth to get her back or if his heart is too broken to act dirty. Willow's struggle to win back Michael's trust is at stake. Willow faces Drew's power play. Given that the custody hearing isn't scheduled until October, Willow may eventually fall victim to Drew's information. Drew has plenty of time to persuade Willow to accept him back, even if it means harming her own feelings. It would appear to everyone else that Willow is more lost than ever and unfit to be a mother to her children. Which option, then, is worse, being imprisoned over her Independence Day parlor game with Daisy, or just possibly getting visitation? Will Drew allow Willow to seek atonement, or will he hang the kidnapping over her head to entice her back into a relationship? Will Willow be able to avoid Drew's blackmail? The fact that Drew has some pretty frightening leverage puts Willow's future in jeopardy. Will she outsmart him and start over with Michael Corinthos, or will he use blackmail to get her to resume their romance? For my part, I support Willow confronting the man and, if necessary, speaking open about her actions. This apple didn't fall too far from the tree, though, and I have a feeling Willow will back down when the chips are down, just like her mother always does when she has a chance to come clean. Willow's next move might make or break her now that Drew's machinations have been revealed and her guilt is growing. GH spoilers: who is closely monitoring Brit's every action? Brit Westbourne's covert existence in Dubrovnik, Croatia, is set to take an enigmatic turn, according to General Hospital spoilers. After pretending to be dead and checking into a hotel, Brit seems to be under the cautious eye of Pascal, a concierge who also serves as her handler, making sure she is secure and taking her Huntington's disease medication. However, fans are asking a lot of concerns online after Pascal's cryptic reference to he directing Brit's movements, which included a vehicle accident and preventing her from going out to supper. Does this mysterious man have a connection to his tech scheme, such as Professor Henry Hank Dalton, or is he someone more sinister, like her late father, Cesar Faison? After being spotted by Jason Morgan in a Paris airport, Brit's handler reveals a shocking hint that her peaceful life in Dubrovnik is everything but free. Pascal's position in overseeing her medication and safety, as well as his reference to someone who appears to be in charge of her every action, leave us thinking. Fans conjectured that Brit has been viewed as untrustworthy because of her illness when Pascal brought up that car accident, which appeared to be a previous incident connected to her escape and health condition. Even if Brit complies with his order to remain where she is, her disobedience is evident. Is Brit entangled in the intrigues of this mysterious man, or is he a new player like Dalton? GH spoilers: who is the unidentified man taking Brit's strings? As Pascal explains that he prevents Brit from accomplishing whatever she truly wants to do, we can see her pacing her hotel room in frustration. You wouldn't expect to see a woman bossed around like this. Fans are becoming increasingly interested in who he is this week. Could he be a ghost like Faison, resurrected from the dead, or Dalton, whose tech scheme Jocelyn Joss Jacks is sifting through? While Anna Devane keeps an eye on Dalton's movements, Liesl Albrecht, who is uninformed of Britt's survival, may have clues she is unaware she has. Britt's obedience implies that he has actual authority, perhaps securing her confinement for her protection. Is it a new character, or is Faison's shadow hovering over her once more? Will Britt escape or remain captured? As we learn more about Britt's controlled life, it becomes evident that anything might alter depending on who her mysterious overseer is. Will she stay imprisoned, which is radically unlike than any Britt we've ever seen, or will she rebel against him to regain her freedom? Let's be truthful. Even though we all want Britt to outsmart her handler, we are concerned that the car crash suggestion may indicate more serious risk and untreated medical problems. Willow was standing in the open doorway, her eyes hurting from the tears she had fought to hold back the entire journey over, and her voice shaking. Like the turmoil still pulsing through her, the wind tossed her hair as it blasted against her back. As she held the door, Carly appeared astonished, not sure if she was witnessing the remains of a woman who had just collapsed her entire existence or a desperate woman. Willow was aware that it was evident in her face, her attire, and the unsteady manner in which she gripped the sides of her dress as though she needed to support herself. Willow's voice was choked as she continued, "I didn't marry him. Will you kindly allow me to see my kids now?" Carly paused for a moment, remembering the last time she had seen Willow that morning, smiling, gorgeous, dressed in white, and approaching a life that Carly had warned her was based on deceit. And now, broken, she stood once more. Carly moved to make room for her. Jason heard the conversation from the window upstairs. Although he remained silent, the change in his jaw showed that he was aware that something more profound had recently broken through the surface of their entire existence. Back in the church, the flowers were starting to wither in the scandal's heat, and the benches were still heated. Martin leaned toward Lucy and muttered dryly, "Well, I'd say that was worth the price of admission." Lucy, with her arms crossed, merely rolled her eyes as the guests left or engaged in pew gossip. "You'd be surprised how often this happens," she replied in a tight voice, trying to hide the sorrow caused by yet another incident that went horribly wrong under the name of her brand. Drew stood motionless in the backdrop, his tie unfastened, his eyes blank. He sensed that he had lost everything in the silence that remained after Willow ran, so he didn't need anyone to tell him. Nina stood stiff in the entryway outside, her voice harsh with fear. She whispered to no one in particular, "Her car's gone. She is no longer there." Where had she disappeared to? As Ava attempted to guide her to a bench, her hands trembled a little, but she refused. "Do you believe she's at Michael's?" Ava inquired softly but politely. Nina blinked back a sob and replied, "No. She has left for the children. She requires them. She wants something to cling to." At Carly's, Willow had fallen back into an armchair while continuing to grip the hem of her damaged dress as though it were a stabilizing force. Carly came back with a glass of water and put it down without saying anything. Michael stopped upon seeing her as he came in from the corridor. Willow reiterated, "I didn't marry him," her voice a little more steady now but not any louder than before. "I was unable to." Michael's expression was unclear. He said nothing. She went on, "I understand what you're thinking. It's too late, that this is something I caused myself. Perhaps I did, too. However, I must see Wiley." Michael regarded her, then looked to Carly, who gave him a slight, hardly noticeable nod. "I need to hold Amelia," he said. "Eventually," he said, "just for a little while." With her legs unsteady under her, Willow said, "They're upstairs." She upped the stairs with the eerie stride of someone navigating the remains of a life she no longer recognized. Greta traveled through the shadowy corridors of Britt's secret lab in Croatia, distant from the domestic chaos that was taking place at Carly's house. The smell of bleach and secrets filled the antiseptic air. With a glance that screamed, "Don't ask," she set the small black package on a steel table. "You're running late," Britt yelled. And it wasn't part of the job description to stop for a martini on the way here. "There were complications," Greta said coolly, her gaze darting across the room. Leaning in, Britt looked at the sealed package. "Were they suspicious of you?" As Greta brushed invisible lint from her jacket, she remarked, "Not until the very end." Britt's eyes snapped up. "Then the tracker went dead." "Tracker?" Greta whispered, "I lost them at the Five Poppies Resort." Britt turned to face her computer and said, if they're following, they've lost the trail. Hopefully, that's the case. Otherwise, they're closer than I feel comfortable with. Molly sat rigidly in her chair at the Metro Court pool, holding onto her towel tightly like a shield. Cody smirked as he read aloud from her dropped romance novel while she stared at him. He made fun of you, saying, I thought you were into Tolstoy. Yes, Molly yelled. This is an investigation. When I was younger, I wrote romantic novels. She didn't smile, but he laughed. This is for a third. You conceal it, he remarked. Why? She paused. Because individuals like you make fun of it. You believe it to be just fiction and nonsense. Cody reclined. Molly packed up her belongings and said, perhaps it's because I didn't expect someone like you to write something like that. That mole on your back, too? The atypical one? You may want to have it examined. Skin cancer exists. Cody's smile disappeared. Christina was sitting tensely in Alexis' living room across town. As she described the plan, the blackmail, and the near-death experience, Michael leaned forward on the couch. With a tone of shame in her voice, Christina stated, I tried to get Ava out of my dad's life. So I made advantage of Cody. However, he wasn't meant to fall for Molly. And now I'm harming her as well. Michael didn't appear critical. Just worried. What if everything blows up, she muttered. What happens if Mom's job is lost? What if, Michael extended his arm and grasped her hand. This will be fixed. But you must give up attempting to be in charge of everything. Christina nodded, but her mind kept going to Ava and Rick and the lasting impact those decisions still had. Let individuals make their own errors. At the Quartermain mansion, Tracy saw Drew, who appeared to be the epitome of remorse, stumble in via the side entrance. Have you already lost your bride? She smirked as she joked. Drew laughed hollowly at her. You don't know. Later, Jason entered the almost deserted reception area and discovered Albrecht sitting at the bar, twirling a black liquor glass. I assumed you would be long gone, he remarked. Albrecht retorted, I'm enjoying the unique experience of witnessing a wedding crash and burn. Jason remarked, I need to ask you about Britt, but I assume you're not here for cake. Her physique. Was it ever found? Albrecht's smile dimmed. She put her glass down. She scrutinized him with steely eyes, saying, you think she's alive? I need to know what you know. Join me. In another scene, Nina stood by herself in the rear of the church, repeating to her daughter all the things she had not mentioned. She hadn't done anything. Now that Willow was gone, Nina wasn't entirely sure whether she would return. As Wiley woke up, Willow crouched next to his bed in the peaceful nursery upstairs at Carly's. She kissed him on the forehead and ran her fingers through his hair. I'm really sorry, she said. Willow got up and gathered her daughter into her arms as Amelia stirred in her crib behind her. Her children's warmth slowly started to melt the chilly clutch of grief around her chest as she rocked her while holding her close. Jason sat quietly next to Carly as she looked through the baby monitor downstairs. This was what she needed, Carly muttered. Jason gave a nod. Back in Croatia, Britt's lab door opened once more. She needed the truth. And now, Carly said with a sad sigh, we all deal with the fallout. A man with a gloomy face entered without knocking. Startled, Britt looked up. You failed to call, she remarked. You didn't respond, he said. They looked at each other. And then the past came back with a vengeance, along with everything that was still alive in it. General Hospital spoilers, is Sunny's false nurse assassin linked to Greta the courier? According to spoilers, there is always a chance that Greta, the courier, is a clone of the phony nurse assassin who assaulted Sonny Corinthos following his surgery in Los Angeles. Let's discuss it as Greta and the aforementioned nurse share a striking resemblance in appearance. A target on Sonny Corinthos' back. General Hospital spoilers remind viewers that, although there was no proof at the time, many people thought Jen Sidwell was responsible for Sonny's attack in Los Angeles. Jack Brennan arrived to tidy up the scene after Brick shot the nurse assassin to save Sonny. Brennan recognized the phony nurse as a familiar figure in the intelligence community at the time. The nurse received payment via the dark web in cryptocurrency. If Brennan discovers that Greta is the same person who attempted to kill Sonny in Los Angeles, just think of the storyline twist. Given that he was involved in the cleanup effort, this could leave him confused. What then might account for all of this? There has been a lot of conjecture about PCU Professor Henry Hank Dalton and his cloning lab research. Is there a strange cloning project involved? Is Sidwell and the unidentified partner creating a cloned courier army to do heinous tasks all around the world? Greta's recent assignment to gather Dalton's research left him looking strange. Was it because he knew who she was? Having said that, Sidwell did alert Dalton about the status of his laboratory research and the fact that their ally wasn't happy with how slowly things were going. This could be because Dalton is afraid of failing and the consequences that follow. Could Greta be a clone who works with a group of cloning assassins? After all, Sidwell was previously called a terrorist on a worldwide level, even though he is now a huge fish in the little PC pond. Since the WSB is engaged, whatever Dalton is up to appears to be far greater than Port Charles. It feels like a global menace. Sidwell and Small don't exactly go hand in hand. Is Greta a copycat? Gio volunteers to assist Emma, Jason hears Britt's voice, and Joss and Vaughn are relocated. Felicia was stopped by Lucas to speak in the hospital. He was curious about how Bobby Spencer, his mother, managed to live with Sonny. According to Felicia, Bobby at most put up with Sonny. Lucas claimed that he used to go along to get along because of Carly, but that after Sonny abducted and injured Marco, he felt he could no longer ignore the situation. Felicia acknowledged that Sonny's behavior wasn't acceptable, but she also pointed out that there was more to it than that. He acknowledged that he couldn't count on Carly to ignore him and suggested he might have to let her live her life while he lived his. Felicia stood by him, defending his connection with Marco, while he gave a more biased account of his and Carly's argument. When he admitted that he had no idea how to prevent Sonny from causing friction between him and Carly, Felicia advised him to do like his mother had done and forbid him from doing so. She didn't give him an ultimatum, but she did encourage him to voice his opinions on Sonny when he felt like it. She suggested that Carly should not be forced to choose between him and Sonny because it was crucial that they stay together. After their conversation, he headed to the Metro Court pool. Sonny captivated Suzanne as she took him into Miller and Davis law offices to see Alexis. Alexis asked him directly why he had taken Marco hostage. Suzanne gave him a double espresso and a piece of her famous carrot cake before he spoke. Sonny stated that he believed she would provide an apology for her treatment of him in front of Charlie's following the fire when Alexis pressed for an explanation once again. Alexis expressed her worries about how much Christina occasionally behaved like him without offering an apology. She was concerned about Christina's impetuous behavior and her adherence to Sonny's theory that the goals should always come before the means. He stood by doing what he had to do to protect his family, whether that meant kidnapping Marco or something else entirely. She said that he was taking a significant risk with their daughter's welfare, but he believed that she was being overly cautious and that he had to put greater faith in Christina's resilience. She did not mention it to Sonny, but she had a flashback of her discussion with Christina about severing Rick's brakes. Alexis believed she was done for the day after Sonny left, but Ava showed up for her 5 o'clock meeting. Christina ran into Dante at the Metro Court pool as she was waiting for Cody. Dante and Gio recognized each other's presence from a distance by nodding their heads. When Marco entered, Christina and Dante were sitting by the window catching up. As she approached Marco to express her gratitude once more, she was startled to see the scratches and bruises on his face. Marco offered the police a phony tale, which he repeated to her. They briefly discussed his mother. In addition to expressing gratitude for his mother's assistance in troubling her and her father, Christina described Natalia as a complex individual who made an effort to make apologies for the problems she caused her and Allison. She continued by telling him about her accident from last summer, the dubious decisions she made as a result, and how Natalia assisted her even though she didn't have to. She eventually responded to the hit piece that the Port Charles Press published about Sonny and his mother, reassuring him that Sonny was not responsible for Natalia's passing. Marco stated he was still deciding what he believed and didn't want to talk about it. At the same time, Lucas arrived at the pool. Sonny explained to Lucas that he had come to get Donna from her swimming class. Lucas asked Sonny whether his other daughter knew that he had abducted Marco and held him captive for a day after he saw him conversing with Christina. Perhaps someone should tell her, he remarked smugly. After telling him to do his tasks, Sonny left. As Christina was conversing with Marco, Dante went over to Danny to inquire about some things. He gave him a photo of the courier, Greta, who Danny instantly identified as the person who had left him a $50 tip. Danny went on to tell him what he noticed while the woman was there, including how he found it strange that she was wearing a backpack because she appeared too elegant to do so. His attention to detail impressed Dante, who said he reminded him of his mother. Emma saw Dalton enter the pool while she and Gio were conversing at the other end. She was giving off stalker signals, so Gio warned her to exercise carefully. Once he had finished speaking with Danny, Dante saw from a distance as Emma approached Dalton organically by using Outback. She informed Dalton that she had taken care of all the literature for his next talk. Although Jocelyn was in charge of the summer lecture series logistics, he thanked her. Gio later warned her once more about being so overt with Dalton because he thought he could begin to suspect something. She believed Dalton would still perceive her as the overly eager pupil she had always been. Gio offered to investigate Dalton's lab so Emma could continue the masquerade of being the overeager student when she stated she was going to enter Dalton's lab using the keys she had stolen from Vaughn while he was at the lecture. At the Five Poppies resort, Britt was about to leave her room when Pascal, the manager, knocked on her door and informed her that she was not permitted to go. He offered to bring her anything she desired and stated that there had been worries about her driving. According to Britt, the donkey lived through her vehicle accident 2 years ago. She added that she had just arrived, had just begun taking her medication, and was learning how to operate a manual car when the tragedy occurred. She briefly remembered how frightening it had been to drive with Jason. She mentioned that one of the drivers may transport her to the restaurant, but Pascal stated that he believes she should remain on the property due to her medical condition. She found the requirement to remain there absurd, and he was simply upset that she had traveled to Paris. He went after promising to send the evening specials and Negronis to her room. Jason paid Anna a visit at her flat. Regarding his suspicions regarding Britt's death, he requested her opinion. After speaking with Liesel, he informed her that Britt had not intended to be cremated and that the mortuary paperwork had been improperly filled out. Jason added, "Not only that, but I think I saw her," in response to Anna's question about whether he believed Britt staged her own death. He described what transpired at the French airport, stating that there wasn't much to say but it wasn't nothing either. Despite her skepticism, Anna acknowledged that there was a potential Britt was still alive because she trusted Jason and was aware of Faison, Albrecht, and Britt's talents. She stunned him by telling him not to go look for Britt after he thanked her for thinking he might be correct. If Britt did stage her death, Anna believed it was a conscious decision since she didn't want anyone to witness her deteriorating condition. In addition to not respecting her desires, trying to locate her can even be considered a betrayal. Dante came back to tell Anna what he had discussed with Danny after Jason had left. They discovered that the backpack had been given away at the swimming facility. Then he cautioned her about Emma's obsession with Dalton. Jason got a call from Pascal, the manager of Five Poppies Resort, after he left Anna's. Pascal was responding to an email from John Moore asking about a stay at the resort. Britt stormed in while he was on the phone, shouting loudly enough for Jason to hear her ask for the keys to her car. Brennan informed Jocelyn and Vaughn at his WSB office that they were being removed from the PCU case since Dalton was no longer the main target. He claimed to be sending them to the Five Poppies Resort to conduct intelligence collection and monitoring. Although he wanted them to be familiar with the location, he made it clear that they were not allowed to engage any of the targets, attempt to steal the data themselves, or engage in any kind of sabotage. Joss asked whether it was wise to quit Dalton's assistant job after he informed them that they would be there for around 2 weeks, pretending to be newlyweds. She was aware that he would give it to Emma, who was unaware of his true danger. Brennan assured Emma and Anna that the stakes were high and promised to look after them. "Because you are leaving in a day," he added, "come up with your backgrounds, deliver your excuses, and pack your bags." He handed them identities and rings. The rings were placed in Joss's pocket. Brennan informed Joss that she would need to convince her that they were completely in love when Vaughn was fired. GH breakup, Sophia Matson verifies her leave, but is it permanent? For the time being, Sasha has departed Port Charles. After Sophia Mattsson left the ABC soap opera as Sasha, General Hospital gave viewers yet another casting surprise. Fans were surprised that Mattsson was departing the show, even though the production had hinted that Sasha would leave Port Charles to protect Daisy. Unfortunately, however, that is true. After 7 years on GH, Mattsson made the decision to pursue acting outside of GH at a time when Sasha and Michael were having a lot of connection. Will Sasha and Mattsson never return? The last time fans saw Sasha on GH was a few weeks ago. But Mattsson recently revealed her departure on social media. Mattsson talked candidly about her departure and alluded to a potential comeback in an Instagram post that included a carousel of pictures from her time on GH. Sasha Gilmore has indeed departed Port Charles. I am really appreciative of my stay at General Hospital, which has been my second home in recent years. And I'm incredibly grateful to have witnessed the love and support that all of the amazing GH fans have to offer. You guys are the best. Mattsson started her message, Red Heart. Fans may be happy to hear that the actress added her desire for Sasha. For the time being, it's time for Sasha to take a vacation from all the turmoil, and for me to continue my acting career with some exciting new projects. I hope she will return to her friends and family. She concluded her caption, saying, Clapperboard Dizzy. GH stars react. A handful of Mattsson's co-stars shared their thoughts on her departure from the ABC serial opera in the comments area of her post. Very lovely, gifted, and sincere. I cherish you. Heartsuit Dizzy, Caitlin McMullen said. She was fantastic on GH and will be missed, according to William DeVry. In response to Mattson's remark, Gibson and Michelle Stafford sent a number of emoticons, including red heart emojis. The popular ABC soap opera will miss Mattsson and Sasha, but we hope the actress has the greatest possible start to her next chapter. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.